Curitiba, bit of an interesting case. Lots of military coups going on. This whole big planning process was going on around a military coup at the same time. Very different sort of governance system, I suppose. But again, there's challenges to legitimacy if you look back through the records. It didn't all go smoothly. They finally got to a plan, and there was a big bust up in a public seminar and all this sort of stuff. So again, this is all not really coming down to how good your plan is. It's coming down to whether we have the support of the room in this public seminar type process. And the plan ended up getting adopted, and then nothing really happened. And then the mayoral elections were suspended, and Jamie Lerner, who probably familiar with the name, became mayor. And yeah, he saw it. This is like a war. We have to convince people, and we just have to do it. And once everyone sees it, they'll love it. And so that's what he did. He went out there 5 p.m. on a Friday, and he shut the street. And he said, "That's it. We're having a pedestrian wall in the middle of downtown." It was all built at 10 a.m. on Monday morning, and everyone hated it. The store owners went to the state governor and said, "We want you to sack this guy." The governor said, "I'm busy for the next 30 days. Come and see me later," because he sort of liked Lerner. And then, the drivers had a big, huge protest. They were going to drive through the mall, and Lerner's a bit of a smart guy, so he organised an art festival in the middle of the street. Again, this is a battle over legitimacy. This space here is for the kids to have the art thing. It's a little bit hard to have a driving protest in the middle of downtown when there's an art festival going on. But again, nothing really to do with any of the technical merits of this. This is a battle over legitimacy. And so he turned that success in this pedestrian wall into some sort of, that gave him the legitimacy and the support that sort of helped get this busways up and running. And then, they expanded the plan and more busways, etc. And then things went on, and Brazil moved back to a democracy, and Lerner headed off to Rio de Janeiro and did all sorts of other work, and they ended up in this situation where the BRT was going really well, but now they were full of passengers. So what are you going to do? And Lerner had sketched this idea out for Rio de Janeiro, but there was talks of converting everything to an LRT, etc. Lerner got elected as mayor, and then basically because he was the mayor and there was this idea, well, they gave it a shot. So they gave it a shot, and it worked, and it worked so well that they ended up trying it all over the city. Again, this is more to do with the people trusted him. He had a whole lot of success on the busways thing. And so, this good idea sort of got through. And so again, in Curitiba, we see these pragmatic strategies, subservient, the bus tubes don't get the cars very much. There's bottom-up and incremental, they were doing bits over time. And yeah, definitely some pop-ups and some trials going on, and just sort of rational process, I suppose, as well, with people, the larger plan that sort of drove a lot of this was debated through a public seminar type rational process. Strangely enough, they tried the tubes in New York. They put them on a boat and drove them, sailed them to Manhattan, and unfortunately it didn't go very well. They ended up taking the tubes down after about 6 months. And if you think about why this might have been in the case of New York, if you think about it through legitimacy, why wouldn't these tubes be adopted long-term in Manhattan? Well, it's a pretty complicated regulatory environment in Manhattan, whereas in Curitiba, the mayor's the mayor. And when the mayor was the first mayor, he had guys with guns telling, we're going to shut the street. It's a different regulatory environment. And I suppose also, some problems about arguments about reasonableness. No one voted for this idea of bringing something to Brazil to New York. And is it something I trust? As a New Yorker, do I trust this thing from Brazil? I'm not sure exactly what the arguments were against it, but I think that if you look at it through a legitimacy sort of idea, you can see some of the reasons that what is a great technical solution might not have gone down all that well in New York. Melbourne here, we've had a bit of a look at some of the stuff going on here. Clarendon Street is probably the interesting example. Supported by Melbourne 2030 and the Think Track program. Implementation, a pilot, pretty modest sort of stuff going on here. A little bit of curbing, a bit of a hook turn, and take out a few parking spots, and you get a far side stop. There was a media release There was a protest website. The people didn't like it apparently. My reading is it was mostly about the parking removals. And so the city went in and said, right, well, we'll give you 29 more parking spaces on the surrounding blocks. That gives you, I think, +9 eventually. And that didn't really help too much to sort of listen to the protest. But what did help was technical analysis by the city engineer, which sort of then led to this sort of compromise, where some of the transit priority results transit priority measures were kept, and the far side stops were gone. And then overall, the Think Change project probably ended up a little bit less ambitious than it might have been again. But you can see how legitimacy does tie into this. You know, it might not have been quite as successful to go quite as hard on the first one, so maybe we need to be a little bit less ambitious on the next. You can see how this sort of does tie into some of these issues. But again, very complicated.